This is episode 50 of the Mystic Place blog and podcast. Please welcome your host, Chris Grabowski, as he discusses QCast, an accessible podcatcher from www.q-continuum.net.
This is Chris Grabowski, and in this episode I'm going to demonstrate QCast, an accessible podcatching client from q-continuum.net. I will be running Windows 8 and Windows, and I'm going to press the Start menu to go to the Start screen.
Start menu, Mail.
And I'm going to type QC. Now, I've already purchased the program and registered it, but if it was a demo, it would only run one podcast, and a dialog would come up prompting you to activate it and such. So I'm going to type QC and press enter.
QCast. Podcasts, no selected item, list view.
In this window, there are three controls. You have a list view,
no selected
which
item,
is your list of podcasts. And then you tab once.
Episodes, no selected item.
You have your episodes list, which is the list of episodes within that podcast. And you tab one more time.
Episode description, read only, edit.
And you have the episode description. So I'm going to
podcasts, no.
Go back to the podcast list, and I'm going to hit the Alt key to go to the menu bar.
Podcast P pull down.
We'll go to the right.
Episode E pull down.
We'll go to the right.
Help page pull down.
Go to the right again.
System pull down.
Right again.
Podcast P pull down.
Now I'm going to go down.
Add podcast. A control P dialog.
You can add a podcast.
Delete podcast D, delete disabled.
Delete.
Podcast details. P
Podcast
control
details.
D dialog disabled. Browse podcast folder B control B disabled.
Browse the podcast folder where podcasts are downloaded.
Podcast website W control W disabled.
Podcast website.
Check for new episodes E control E disabled.
Check for new episodes.
Import I dialog.
You can import an OPML file, which I will do later.
Export E dialog disabled.
You can export an OPML file.
Exit X.
You can exit the program. Now press escape.
Podcast P pull down.
Go to the right.
Episode E pull down.
Scroll down.
Play. P dialog disabled.
You can actually press enter on an episode and that will start playing it.
Download D control L disabled.
You can download.
View episode details V control shift D disabled.
View episode details.
Play. P dialog
and then
disabled.
We're back to play. Escape.
Episode E pull down.
Scroll to the right.
Help page pull down.
Scroll down.
QCast readme QF1.
QCast readme, which opens in your web browser.
About QCast. A dialog.
About QCast.
QCast readme QF1.
And now we're back to the readme.
Menu closed.
So I just hit Alt to close the menu. Now I'm going to go into the menu again.
Podcast P pull down. Add podcast. A control P dialog.
And I'm going to add a podcast.
Menu closed. Podcast URL edit box. Dialog add podcast.
So now I can type in the podcast that I want to add, and I will do that.
http://www.mysticplacebloggand.com/question FEED equals PODCAST.
I'm going to tab once.
Check URL button.
Press enter on the check URL button.
Podcast title tier read only edit box.
Okay, you hear that sound?
Mystic Place blog and
I just read my current line.
Podcast.
And there it is. Now I'm going to tab.
Description D. The Mystic Place is a place you can't stay for a while. We talk about assistive technology and post reviews of products of interest. Read only edit.
Tab again.
Add the button.
And I want to add.
QCast. Podcast top bottom Mystic Place blog and podcast last updated 2/17/2013 3:37:11 p.m. list view 1 of 1.
Now that tells us the last time the podcast has been updated. So I'm going to press tab.
Free Talk 1200 Connect Me Skype VoIP phone adapter published date 2/16/2013 8:37:56 a.m. status downloaded. Free Talk 1200 Connect Me Skype VoIP phone adapter.
And I'm going to press enter.
Title T Free Talk 1200 Connect Me Skype VoIP phone adapter read only edit box. Dialog
Episode
playback Free Talk
so now it's
1200
playing
Connect
the
Me
podcast.
Skype
Free
VoIP
Talk
phone adapter
1200 Skype VoIP
P.
And I just pressed Alt P to pause it.
Description D tweet in episode 49 I demonstrate how to configure the FreeTalk 1200 Connect Me Skype VoIP phone adapter and use it to make a call to the Skype call testing service. This adapter allows you to connect a standard corded or cordless phone and use it with...
I just pressed tab to get to the description. So I'm going to tab again.
Play P button.
There's the play button.
Stop S button.
There's the stop button.
Jump to time J button.
There's the jump to time button. You can jump to a specific time.
Volume B40 of 100 track.
There's the volume button.
Podcast position 01 of 100 track bar.
There's the podcast position.
Speedy normal combo box 2 of 6.
There's the speed, and we can change that. So I'm going to press Alt P to start playing this phone adapter. This is Chris Grabowski. I just wanted now I'm going to scroll down.
The FreeTalk
1200 Skype VoIP phone adapter. This is an adapter that allows you to scroll down. Use your Skype account to make and receive calls. It's a little box scroll
that
down
connects
again.
To your router really fast, and your 5 of 6.
phone line. You can use just a regular corded or cordless phone. And if you have a Skype
Bottom
in number,
fastest,
you
6
can
of
receive
6.
calls from landlines or mobile phones. If you just use your Skype account, now I'm going to go to the calls from your
top.
contacts. You can even place
Top
calls
low 1 of 6.
Using speed dial, using your phone. The box is pretty straightforward. It came in 2 pieces. There's no AC I'm going to adapter.
Press
Alt P to pause.
So to P.
Hit the down arrow key.
Normal 2 of 6.
Put it back to normal. Press Alt F4 to close.
QCast. Episodes FreeTalk 1200 Connect Me Skype VoIP phone adapter published date 2/16/2013 8:37:56 a.m. status 7 played. Downloaded list view.
So now it told me it's 7% played. So I'll scroll down.
The Cube. Accessible Twitter client.
Scroll down.
Android Accessibility Part 3 published date 1/28/2013 3:24:20 p.m. status not downloaded.
Okay. So let's shift tab back to the podcast list.
Podcast top bottom Mystic Place blog and podcast last updated 2/17/20.
Now I will delete this podcast by pressing the delete key.
No selected item.
It's all gone. Now if I go back to the podcast menu.
Podcast P pull down.
Press Alt.
Add podcast. Delete podcast D. Browse podcast folder. Podcast website W. Check for new episodes. You can import. iDialog.
I'm going to import a file, so I'm going to press Enter.
Menu closed. File name and bottom combo edit bar.
Now I'm in a standard Windows Open dialog, so I'm going to press Shift-Tab.
Name closed split but.
Shift-Tab again.
Items view top potential sounds date mod.
Hit the End key.
Bottom iCatcher 2013-0119.optimal date mod.
And this is an OPML file that I exported from my iCatcher podcatcher client on my iPad. So I'm going to press Enter.
QCast. Podcast stop 5x5 master audio feed last updated and a list view 1 of 32.
So now it imported my 32 podcasts, and I'm going to press the down arrow key.
Accessible devices last updated 1/29/2013.
Again.
All CNET video podcasts SD last updated NA3 of 32.
Again.
All TWT shows last updated 2/21/2013 7:44:22 a.m. 4 of 32.
Now I'm going to press the tab key.
Episodes top TWT Live Specials 154 The PlayStation 4 announcement published date 2/21/2013 7:44.
What is that about? Let's hit the tab key.
Episode description D hosts Leola Port, Brian Brushwood, and Anthony Carboni. Sony's announcement of the PlayStation 4. Download or subscribe to this show at twit.tv specials. Thanks to Catch a Fly for the band.
Shift tab.
Episodes top TWT Live Specials 100.
And I'm going to scroll down.
This week in Google 186 Mall Cops and City Tour published date 2/21/2013 5:14:53 a.m. status not downloaded to of 100.
So I can press Enter to start playing this, or I can press Control L to download it to my hard drive. If you press Enter, it will stream it if you have not downloaded it. So let me press Control L to download it.
L. This week in Google 186 Mall Cops and City Tour published date 2/21/2013 5:14:53 a.m. status not downloaded to of 100. This week in Google 186 Mall Cops and City Tour published date 2/21/2013 5:14:53 a.m. status downloaded to of 100. This
and as
week
you
in
can
Google
see, it is downloaded. So I'll press Enter to play it.
Title key this week in Google One.
We'll take a look at the Google Glass project. For the first time ever, we've seen a
Tab.
video
Description:
of the UI.
the hosts Leola
Doesn't
Port,
sell me, but
Gina
what do Jeff and
Trapani,
Gina think?
and Jeff
Find out
Jarvis.
next on
Google
Twitter.
bless you.
Tab again.
Pause P button. Stop S button.
Podcasts you
Jump to
love.
time J button.
From people you trust.
Volume B40 of podcast position 0 of 100
This
track bar.
is Twit.
It says podcast position,
Bandwidth for
and
this
I'm going to
week
hit
at
the down
Google
arrow
is
key.
provided
1 of
to-
100, 2 of 3, 4, 5 of 100.
Is crap, and you know it. It's irresponsible journalism. And
So now I'm going to press page down.
Okay, Jeff Top.
15 of 100.
She said, come out.
25 of 100.
Trapeze.
35 of 100.
No doubt. I mean,
45 of
Amazing
100.
collection of who would think,
Okay, so I'm going to press
we're
Alt
gonna
F4
record
to
you
close the
driving around
playback
all the time.
window.
How boring can you-
QCast. Episodes this week in Google 186 Small Cops and City Tour published date.
And I will shift tab.
Podcasts all TWT shows, always on SD. Astronomy Cast Blast Up. BlindBargains.com. Empowerment Sanctuary. Forcecast.net. Geekbeat Live last updated to 18/20/13 5:13:43 p.m. 11 of 32.
And I'm going to hit the tab key.
Episodes Top Super Bowl Fail, Brain Simulating Supercomputer and more. It's Talksdorf published date to 18/20/13 5:13.
And let's press enter to play this.
Title T Super Bowl Fail,
Hey
Brain
guys, I'm Callie Lewis.
And I am John P. On today's Geek Beat Live, brain simulating supercomputers,
Super Bowl successes and failures.
diamond encrusted headlights,
And I'll press
Gangnam
Alt F4 to
Style,
close
baby.
this.
QCast.
And that is a video podcast. So now I'm going to press Alt F4 to close QCast. Well, I hope you have enjoyed this demonstration of QCast from q-continuum.net. If you have any comments or suggestions, my contact information follows. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Hi there, my name is Joey.
And my name is Kimberly.
Thanks for listening to the Mystic Place blog and podcast. We hope you have enjoyed this episode.
Joey,
Yes, Kimberly.
it is my turn to talk.
Okay,
Thanks, Joey.
no problem.
If you have any comments or suggestions, feel free to send an email to mysticplacepodcast@gmail.com or leave a voice message at 864. Mystic 4, that is 86469784424, or follow him on Twitter at JediKent, JEDIKENT.
You can visit the website at www.mysticplacepodcast.com.
Don't forget to subscribe to this podcast by searching in iTunes or at www.mysticplacepodcast.com/question feed equals podcast to your podcatcher.
Have a nice day.
Take care.